Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wellness with Pow, where we leverage our power as cosmic creatures here on Earth, trying to do our best to live a very fulfilling life. The topic for today is the reduction in force or layoff. This is a very topic that is close to my heart because coming from personal experience, I just recently experienced being reduced from the workforce, and in this podcast, I would like to use my voice to share how I felt during, after, what happens when a reduction in force is happening in your life, and how I am dealing with it while still taking care of myself. I'm hoping that with this podcast and sharing my voice, that people who are currently experiencing it are not feeling alone and trusting the process and staying in faith and keeping a positive mental being during these challenging times. So this reduction in force, or sometimes we call it RIF or a layoff, is not really a very positive experience. My experience was I showed up at work, I was called to a meeting, and was called into a room, and when I entered the room, I saw my VP and an HR, and I quickly thought and said to them, "Is this reduction in force?" And they said yes, and I was out from that building in 10 minutes. Pretty much they tell you that the position is eliminated. That was my experience. The position was eliminated, and they were truly very sorry, and then next thing you know, they were handing you your document of severance pay. And that is if you're lucky to be offered a severance pay. I was allowed to go to my office. I was allowed to say goodbye to my colleagues or anyone. I was just asked to stay in the room and talk to the HR while the VP at that time just went to my office and took my purse. And then I had to go home. And a few days after that, all of my personal belongings in my office were boxed and sent to my work. As you can imagine, I woke up that day not knowing really what was going to happen, except that I woke up and I said, "Universe, today it is all yours, and today I'm going with whatever you want to happen, and I'm going with the flow." I always tell myself that when I wake up in the morning. And oddly, when I was experiencing the reduction in force meeting, I was at peace and I felt a little bit of a freedom. But at the same time, there's a lot of uncertainties because I have never experienced something like this, where something that you're relying on as your primary source of livelihood is taken away from you without any warning. I think let's start there. I felt my initial reaction and my initial feelings were composed of, did I do something wrong? This is definitely a harsh process, was what I was thinking, because it felt like I was being kicked out for something I did wrong. And I did not know that this is how it goes. I wish someone told me that this is what you undergo when you get eliminated from your position. And no one told me that. I really thought it's just not easy, but it's just common. But when you experience it, it is a very undesirable experience. I've felt that I did something wrong, and I had a lot of questions, but no answers are given to me. And I came home, and for the first 1.5 weeks, all I did was look for a job almost every day, spruce up my resume and look for jobs. But at the same time, I was thinking, I wanted time for myself, and I wanted time for the things that I really love to do, and I needed a break. I just did not know that it would happen this way. The odd thing is, while I was going through this, it's such a busy day. I wake up, I prepare to myself like I'm going to work. I dress up, I drop off my kid in school, and then I go in front of my computer, and either I do my hobbies, or I look for a job, or I learn a new skill, and I do those things several times during the day. And I did it every day ever since I got let go. And while I am not working, it feels like a very, very busy day because of that framework that's happening right now. Find work, stay positive, do the mommy duties, do the wife duties, take care of your own self, learn something new, pursue hobbies, knowing that in my case, I've got about 6.5 weeks left until the severance pay is done with, knowing that you have those weeks and you want to enjoy them, like you want to go on vacation, but you do not know the ending of the 6 weeks where you're going to be. Now, luckily for me, I could say that I have gone through so many challenges in my life, and I have proven that God has always been there for me, and I have never had any challenge that I wasn't able to recover from. With my faith and with the support that He gives me, I have always known that I have never been abandoned by the universe, by God's source, by life source. So I know this is just one of those things that happened to me, and I will be able to recover from this. Here are some of my takeaways and some of the things that I also thought about this experience. One is, you can definitely be emotionally impacted by this, because it wasn't a dignified exit. After so many years of working with people at work, they become your family, and work becomes your second home in a way, especially if you're working more than 40 hours a week. And somehow you never would have imagined that you're going to leave something you love and something that you value and become part of your life for so many years in such a manner. It's just like you're a plug that was unplugged, and that was it. It made me think that if I was a multi-billion-dollar leader, part of the leadership, I would probably redefine the process of RIFs or layoff. I would make it a little bit more humanistic, but I guess I'm not an expert in legal things. There's probably a lot of legalities that are involved, but I would definitely be more humanitarian about it. Like, maybe make sure that the person has a reference, person has really good reference letters, and that there are job leads or recommendations or introductions to the next position or other companies, instead of just being let go, right? But I guess you cannot do it for hundreds of employees. For letting go more than like a couple hundred, or they're letting go thousands of employees. But even such recommendation letters could really be very helpful. I also thought about job applications. Imagine if the recruiters and the companies that are hiring are prioritizing people who are laid off over people who actually have other current jobs and current source of income. And just being very mindful of that because of the economy, the status of the economy right now. So, yeah, it is not a pleasant experience. I think what I want to say as I end this podcast is don't blame yourself. Do a lot of self-care. You're doing your best. You did your best. What you're going through is very normal. What we are going through is very normal. We have never been trained to undergo this. It's not every day that you get laid off or let go from work. So all of these emotions and all of these experiences that we're having are first time for all of us. We are not alone. You are not alone. I am not alone. And the level of impact on our lives differ. Some people were let go and they're relying on visas, right? Some people are let go and that's the only source of income they have and they don't have any savings. Some folks were let go and that could mean that their entire family would have to leave the United States. It is important that as we think about ourselves, that we also think about the others. This is the time where we pray for each other and we imagine a better world for everyone, imagining that new doors are opening and new opportunities are coming your way, and not only thinking about you and not just praying for you, but praying for everyone who's going through this. It's also important to wish your former company very well because they have helped you grow. They served you well in the years that you were with them. And some decisions have to be made that this has to go through. So what I'm saying is you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel while you're going through this experience. And that's the attitude I'm trying to bring into this experience. It could be a reset for you. Let me say that again. It could be a reset for me. It could be a way that the universe made it such that it's a clear sign that I have to do something else, or I have to be somewhere else, or I have to work somewhere else, because otherwise I won't take that step if I continue to be in the company. It could be that we are called to something better, because at this point in our lives we need to be somewhere else. We need to be doing something else, and we need to be with other people to truly make a difference in the world in this stage of life. Please take care of yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically, as always. Continue to learn, and again, do not focus on the past. Let's say that in a positive way. Past is past. The moment, the now, is what's the most important. Focus on the now. Enjoy this time that you have with you, if that's what you wanted and you were given this gift of time to be with your family, to reevaluate your life and take a break from the daily grind of corporate world. And maybe there's another spin. Take this time to really live your faith and live in your knowing that you're trusting the process. So my fellow RIFs, we are all taken care of. I am here. I'm using my voice to remind you that we are all taken care of and everything will work out in the end. Stay strong. Take care of yourself. Pray for others. Pray for yourself. Wish everyone the best, including the people who let you go, including the people that were let go. And as you pray for yourself, and as you pray for abundance for yourself and for direction for yourself, pray for the same things for others. And I think that'll be the best thing to do right now. So thank you once again for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time at the next episode with Wellness with Pau. Take care, everyone.